Hey Run Junkies, welcome to Runners Without Limits TV. Now I want to deviate just a little bit from the usual training video and make a whole bunch of announcements. Seriously, there's been a lot happening. Now before I do that, I want to thank so many of you who have stuck with me for so long. Now I've been doing this thing for quite a while, and I have to say that this last year was hard, like for many of us, and I almost just stopped, right? I had some huge plans early in 2020 that I wanted to bring you so much more. Unfortunately, many of those things were tied to races being around. And now that many of us have live races back on the calendar and the calendar matters again, or at least we can see it from here, all those things that I've put on hold for the last year are back on the table. And the big things that I've been teasing for the last few months are finally here. As many of you know, I have launched training plans for sale over on Training Peaks. Now the response that I've gotten to this announcement was overwhelmingly heartwarming. You guys have been amazingly supportive on this. Now those plans include the Dopey Challenge, the Goofy Challenge, a 2-course challenge for Wine and Dine specifically, and single distance plans for the marathon and half marathon. There's more to come, and there's still more work to be done on those. So please check out the link in the description below for more. Now the next announcement is that Runners Without Limits has a new online hub, runnerswithoutlimits.com. Yes, it's the new website, and it's your online portal for this channel, for the podcast, for the training plans, for articles, and a whole lot more. This project was about 6 months in the making as I worked with a professional marketing Jedi. Yeah, that's what he calls himself, and it fits. It's perfect. I hope you take the time to head over to runnerswithoutlimits.com and see everything it has to offer over there. Now, my last announcement has been stewing in my brain for about a year now. It's been kind of crazy. Now, many of you know that this channel, the podcast, the socials, I could consider it really a hobby of mine. It's a passion to bring you helpful information and bring this tribe together through running. However, I don't take up a whole lot of internet real estate. Sponsors aren't really beating down my door, and frankly, I'm fine with that. You are here because you want to be. Because maybe a friend told you about this channel or the podcast, or the YouTube algorithm just suggested one of these videos. It's a weird thing, the internet. But because I want to bring you more and offset the cost of running this thing, I've opened up a Patreon page. And if you don't know what that is, here's what that means in a nutshell. As a Runners Without Limits patron, you will have exclusive access to content from across all of the platforms I have here. The first tier, Coach's Corner, brings back this podcast favorite, and it will also feature monthly patron shoutouts, both here on the channel and over on the podcast. Tier 2 is called The Running Journey, and you will get what I just mentioned, the Coach's Corner stuff, plus some behind the scenes, early access to regular content when it's available. And Tier 3 is Race Day, and it includes all of that, plus podcast pregame show and after shows. Now this is where I talk with Jen about what we're about to talk about on the podcast, or what we just talked about on the podcast. So that's what pregame and after show is. So I hope that if Patreon takes off, that I can bring you so much more across this whole network, better quality content as well. So I hope you will join me over on the Patreon page to help keep this thing going. Look, links for all of these new projects are in the description. And I want to thank you all once again for keeping me going. I hope we can keep this thing running. My question for you is, what do you think of all of these new projects? I've been busy, right? Please leave thoughts, questions, comments, and suggestions for future videos in the comment section down below. Please hit that like, subscribe, and tell your friends. That's going to do it for me today, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, remember, you have no limits, and happy running.